Hi, welcome to this event with Jarrett Pumphrey and Jerome Pumphrey. Jarrett has been a storyteller most of his life, both on his own and in collaboration with his brother Jerome. He's served as creative director for multiple technology companies, and he now spends his time writing and drawing in his home near Austin, where he lives with his wife, their two boys, and a dog named Whiskey. Jerome is a designer, illustrator, and writer originally from Houston. He studied graphic design at the Art Institute of Austin, and since 2016, he has been a graphic designer at the Walt Disney Company. The Pumphrey brothers are the proud authors of the children's book, The Old Truck, but today they're going to talk to you all about their new book, The Old Boat. Let me show it to you. There it is. It's really cool, and they're going to show you all about the little details of how they made it. So we hope you enjoy this event.
Okay, hi. My name is Jarrett Pumphrey.
And I'm Jerome Pumphrey. We're brothers and we're authors and illustrators. Our latest book is The Old Boat, which is, it's actually the follow-up and kind of a companion to our first book, The Old Truck, that came out last year.
Yeah, this book, both books actually, were inspired by our family. We live here in Texas, and when we were kids, our grandma used to take us to Galveston and take us fishing and crabbing. And when we were there, we just really gained an appreciation for the natural world, for the ocean, and what a great resource it is. And it just really inspired us to tell a story about it. Also, our grandfather, he had a boat. He had this old boat that we would play in his garage when we were growing up. It sat there most of the time. Eventually, we did get to take it out into the ocean, but both of those things kind of inspired this book, and we'd love to share it with you now. So, The Old Boat. The story actually starts here. It's a young boy and his grandmother here walking to their old boat. The Old Boat by us. Off a small island, an old boat rode the tide. First shallow, then deep, then deeper. The old boat caught wants, and wishes. Waves. And wonders. But the old boat rode farther. And farther. Far from home, the old boat grew cold. And lonely. And lost. What happened to our sailor there? On a small island, a new sailor turned the tide. First shallow, then deep, then deeper. It's all cleaned up now. Off a small island, an old boat was hung. That's the end. So that's the new book, The Old Boat. You notice in this book, these illustrations, as with the old truck, we made these illustrations with stamps. Usually, when you see two names on the front of a book, one person wrote the book and the other person made the pictures. But in our case, with the way we work, we both wrote the words and we both made the pictures. And to make the pictures, we used stamps like this, like this.
That's right. We made over 300 stamps for this book. These are some of the things that you'll see.
Yeah.
Sea animals, the trash.
Pretty much everything in the book was a stamp. And what we love to do is show you how we make these stamps. These are foam stamps. We love to show you how we make them so you can make one at home. And one of our favorite things in the book, one of our favorite animals is this crab. That crab right there. So we're going to show you how to make a crab. So here. Okay. So first things first, we'll walk you through the supplies you need. You're going to need some ink. Our crab's going to be red, so we have some red ink. You need something to draw with. And if you don't have red ink, you can always use red paint, anything wet that'll leave a color. You can even use ketchup. You need a marker to draw with. You need a glue stick. You need some scissors to cut with. Like I said, our stamps are foam, stamps that we made in the book. So this is craft foam. You can get this at any kind of hobby store, and this is foam core. We cut the stamp in this and then glue it on there so we have something to press with. And then you need something pokey, like a toothpick. We've got this little tool here, so we'll use that. Those are the supplies. You have your supplies. The first thing to do is start with your drawing. And so I'm going to let Jerome do that.
Okay, so this is the way that I draw a crab, or at least this is how we drew the crabs for the book. And the first thing we're going to draw is the body. And for that, I draw just a big eye shape, or Jarrett says a football shape. So it's like this. And that's going to be the main part of the body. And then for the claws, I just do two smaller eye shapes, or two smaller footballs on the sides. And that'll be the claws. So then for the eyes on our crabs, we do these little rectangular shapes. So that's going to be one eye. And there's the other one. And then for the legs, we're going to do just some triangles. And so crabs actually have, I believe, 10 legs. But since we're doing this from the front, we're just going to do 4.
Yeah.
And that is the basic shape of it. There's some other details that Jarrett's going to add with the sharp tool.
All right. Okay, so once you have your drawing of your crab on your phone, next step is to cut it out. So we usually use like a blade or an X-Acto knife to cut this out, but you can totally do it with scissors. You just have to be careful. So if you're not comfortable using scissors, then ask a grown-up for some help. But I'm going to show you can do this with some scissors. And the key is it doesn't have to be perfect. We love it when our stamps are a little bit not perfect. We think it makes them look better. So don't worry about making them perfect. Just do your best to cut it out. Follow the line so that you can. this in front of the camera. Just cut around. Okay, these legs can be a little tricky. Just straight lines. Straight lines. Cut. All right, there we go. So that's the hardest part. Once that's done, you're in a good spot. The next place we're gonna do is we're gonna glue this on here. So we're going to glue it with the ink side down. So you just put some glue on here like this. And you take the side that you drew on and you put it down like that. Because you don't want this ink to transfer when you make your stamp. So you just push this down like that. And it's just the same thing, just backwards. That's that. Okay. Now with your pointy tool, you add some details in your stamp. We want our crab to have 2 eyes. So we'll put an eye here. Just stick in there. Like that. That's 2 eyes. Okay, and then you want to do a zigzag. This is a zigzag. It might be hard to see, but we want to do this shape in the claws. Okay, so you take your pokey thing, you start here, and you just scratch into the foam a zigzag shape. Just do your best. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just like that, okay? And then you do the same thing on this side. Start here, up, down, like that, okay? That's it. We've got our stamp. Now what happens is we're gonna put ink on this. Ink won't go into the holes and it won't go into these cracks. All right. Paper. Get a piece of paper. Get your ink pad or your paint. You take this and just press it in there. Kind of like that. I didn't do a great job. You want to try to not get ink on the outside area because that'll transfer to your paper. But just do your best. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. So then once you have this, you take it and you push down just like that. You rub on where the stamp is, trying not to touch the area on the outside. Like that. There we go. There's our crab. Okay. So you can make a crab. You can make anything. All the animals. Let's switch back here. All the animals in the book were made with stamps. And so we'd love it if you'd make, not so many of the animals. Yeah, all these guys were all stamps. So we'd love it if you made some stamps and you made some artwork with this. You share it with us online. We're both online on Instagram or go to our website and you can share it there. Now, those are foam stamps like this. Okay, like we showed you before. After we made this book, we actually got super inspired to do kind of what the character in this book does. He goes out and he picks up trash. You know, you saw him at the end here. He's picking up trash, he's cleaning up the beach. We actually went out around our neighborhood and we started picking up trash along the side of the road. And we found all these plastic bottles and buckets, a lot of buckets. And we found an old dishwasher.
That's right.
Found a bunch of stuff. We picked it up and we brought it back home and we looked at what we could do with it. And what we ended up doing is making a different kind of stamp, like this. This is actually dishwasher plastic and some old disposable food containers. And we turned it into a block and then made a stamp with it that we were able to use to make a print. And so this is one that we made. And we actually have a video of the whole process that we think is pretty cool. And we'd love to share that with you now. So let's see what we can do here. Here we go. We're back. We're back. All right. Yeah. So who knows what that is? That's what we made. Yeah. That's an octopus. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And I think the point of we were super inspired, and we hope that it inspires you and others to kind of think outside the box when it comes to recycling and upcycling, taking trash and turning it into something that you can use.
Yeah, we thought it was pretty cool to find another use for plastic that some of it would have only been used once and then ended up, hopefully not, but in the ocean.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's about it. How about some questions?
Yes.
Usually, one question we often get is what it's like to work with your brother or your sibling. I'll let you answer it first.
Yeah. So, I mean, first, it's a lot of fun. We basically get to make up stories together and then make artwork together. And that's one question we get is how do we work together on the story and the pictures? And the way we do that is we first work out what the story is. So with the old boat, we knew what we wanted to write about. We sort of had some inspiration on the subject of writing about a boat that goes out to the ocean. And together, we just talked about what ideas might go into the story, what's the actual story going to be.
Yeah. And then once we knew kind of what the structure of the story was, then we figured out what part of the story would be told in the text, and then what part would be told in the pictures.
Right.
When you read this book, if you get this book and you get a copy, we encourage you to spend some time with it because it's the sort of book that you have to take your time and you look from page to page and you look and see what's changed and what stays the same. Because the words don't tell the whole story. You have to look at the pictures and see what's happening. Look in the background, look at the island. You can see there's just one house on this island back here. But then here, there's more houses. And so something's happening there in the pictures. And that's what we figure out. We figure out what story do we want to tell in the text, and then what do we want to tell in the pictures. We sit down together, we write the words, and then sort of simultaneously, we're also figuring out what is happening in the pictures. That's how it was with this book. It was the same way with this book. And going all the way back to when we were kids, we'd make up stories together and write them down and make pictures. I was doing most of the writing back then, and Jerome was doing most of the pictures, but same thing.
Right. And so now when we get to the artwork, we work together on that too. And sort of just how we did with that stamp of the crab, it might start off with me doing a drawing, and then Jarrett will cut out the stamp, or he'll draw some things, and I'll make the stamp, and then we'll both use the stamps to make our prints, and then we pick the colors that are going to go in our image together, and we just work together on the whole thing.
Yeah. Another question we get is, where do we get our ideas?
Mm-hmm.
For me, a big source of inspiration is our family. Our family is here in Texas and Louisiana, and they just offered us, I mean, growing up, we had, for the old truck, this book was inspired by the women in our family. We have a long line of very strong and determined women in our family, and we didn't have to look that far when it came to the old boat. We just looked to the same sort of people in our family and got inspiration from there. So pretty much everything we work on has at least a little bit of family in it for me. Yeah.
And then I think just being curious, about things, that gives ideas too. For the old boat, another thing that we were looking at is, what might happen to a boat that starts out as a boat and then has a transformation. Like what could a story be around that?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, in this book, it turns into a reef in the end, an artificial reef. And we researched that a little bit, but that was just something that was a curiosity that led to the idea.
Yeah. What else? What other questions do we have?
We get asked about favorite spreads in the book.
Yeah.
Is there a favorite spread that you have in the old boat?
One of my favorite spreads is this spread, the wall spread.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
I like because it's just, I mean, you notice here, the grandma's in the book the whole time until this is her last appearance in the book. Her hair is white. So we kind of get this full sort of picture as to what has happened with the grandma and the boy. He's grown up. And then this well, making this well was a lot of fun. It was a pretty big stamp, one of the larger stamps in the book. But yeah, that's my favorite spread.
That's cool. I like that one too. One that I sometimes, and this one, I really like this nighttime spread, which is the Jellyfish. And what I liked about this one is we had to figure out how to, well, jellyfish are really kind of transparent. You can see through them a little bit. And making that with a stamp was an interesting challenge. So that was something fun to figure out. And we ended up using a white color and then, kind of just hinting that you can see through them. So it was fun to create and I was really happy with how it came out.
Yeah. So I think that's about it. Yeah.
Yep.
Hope you enjoyed the book. Again, super proud of this book. It is the companion to this book, and you can get both of these books from Nowhere Bookshop. We want to thank the team behind the San Antonio Book Festival for having us. We really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
We hope you guys had a good time, and yeah, go get the book.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Bye.